Welcome back to Daybreak. Today is International Podcast Day, a new way for people to hear about subjects that interest them. With me this morning are Shane and Phil, both from the IU Kelley School of Business. Guys, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
You are experts in this because you have your own podcast. So this is very cool. What is your podcast about? Because it could be a million topics these days.
So it's called the ROI podcast, which means return on investment. And so the whole premise of the podcast is to provide actionable insight to young millennial managers so that they can take that and apply it in their professional and personal lives. And I know, Phil, you had a couple of comments you wanted to say about it as well.
Sure. You know, Drew, we've got a new generation of business owners here in Indianapolis. They want to know best business practice now. So we launched the ROI podcast to satisfy that appetite. And we take the best ideas that our faculty have, translate them into ways that our listeners can serve their customers better and make more profit.
Okay, so why do you think podcasts are so popular?
So here's the deal. It's super easy to consume, right? It's at the fingertips in your phone. You know, you can go to iTunes, Google, you can listen to it wherever. But the best part is a lot of times, especially with the younger generation and their commutes, whether they're biking, they're walking to work, or they're driving in the car, they can listen and get some valuable information so that they can move their way up into their business or in their personal lives. So I think a lot of it's just that it's super easy to consume, and the fact that it's not saturated yet. You know, there are a lot of businesses who aren't leveraging this tool, and so it's a great way to reach your ideal customer and a super easy way to get them to listen.
So easy to consume, but how easy is it to create? Can people just do this in their basement and they suddenly have an audience somewhere?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It requires a lot of thought, and we're blessed at the Kelley School with great faculty that have lots of great research and great ideas. So we pull on that to be able to deliver value to the Indianapolis business community on a weekly basis.
And as far as, you know, setting up, I mean, it's as easy as just having a microphone. You could even record it from your phone, and all you have to do is go to a hosting website to get, you know, a podcast set up, and then from there you can just start recording. And that's what I tell people, is just get started. You don't have to be perfect at it. You don't have to have all the fancy equipment. You can record a podcast from your bedroom, from your basement, and get it up in front of thousands of people in a matter of a day. And so that's a really exciting thing about podcasting.
Yeah, that makes it really interesting. And you guys are from the Kelley School of Business. Is there a business here? Can people make money from doing this?
Definitely. So advertisers, right? The advertising on podcasts is continuing to grow year after year. And so it's a great way to, once you build that listenership and you have an idea of who's listening to your podcast, you can then approach different advertising companies and say, listen, this is an ideal demographic for your product. We have such and such many followers every single week listening to our podcast. This would be a great way to get your product out in front of them. And so with the advertising dollars keep flooding into podcasting, it's definitely a very beneficial way to make some money.
And it's an evolving industry, so to speak, and hobby for a lot of people. Thank you guys so much for coming in on this International Podcast Day.